Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. My name is Jean Williams. I'm your district director for District 115, which is Southern Nevada and a little piece of Utah. And this is my co-host, Jean Dunford. Hey, Jean.
Good morning, everybody. How's the world treating you? Hi, hon.
So it's good to see everybody. We missed everybody on Monday, and then we had technical difficulties on top of that. So it was just a nightmare. So we didn't get a lot of the mark your calendar stuff. So I'll make announcements of that. But I thought I would talk a little bit about why do people stay, and start with, we have some members that I think it's worth recognizing that they have some time. Our most senior member, and this is by time served, not by, well, that sounds bad too, but not by age by any means, but long term, not long term. GJ Wolf, and GJ Wolf has been hiding over in the same club since July 1st of 1977, and that is High Noon Lecturing. So that is really cool. And the other one, I'm going to skip one person and talk about High Noon Lecturing, also has our third most long-term member, and that's Frank Nolamal. Sorry, Frank Nolamal. So those two are both, and they both started their journey in the same club in High Noon Lecturing, both in the 70s. Like I said, GJ back in July of 77, and Frank in December of 79. That's pretty cool. And you said you know Frank, and you used to be in High Noon Lecturing.
I had the pleasure of being their area governor a long time ago, shortly after I got into Toastmasters, so sometime around 2010. And High Noon Lecturing was one of my clubs that I had 6 of, so it was great.
Yeah, they were actually one of my area clubs. I used to go. They served. When I went, they were still serving lunch. It was before the pandemic, and I ate a few nice lunches there. Great club, great people. If you want to just walk in and feel like you're at home, that's the one to be at. And so look for all these clubs and find a club.
Do you have their location where they're meeting handy to you?
Not handy, no, I don't.
Okay, now look them up on the Toastmaster.org website.
And
find a club. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Now, snuck in the middle, our second most long-serving member is Lee Horner, who we mentioned in our newsletter. I mentioned newsletter because I was able to visit the Windjammers anniversary, 63rd anniversary. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys, it's up in the 60s. And Windjammers actually has our second most long-serving member, and that's Lee Horner. Lee joined us in March of 78. And I do remember her talking that she had joined just after women were allowed to join. So when she first joined, it was just her and all men and Windjammers, and slowly 1 or 2 women joined. But it was, she called it the boys club for a little while, because she was one of our pioneering women in District 33, one of the first ones to join. And District 30, it was District 33 back then. Now it's District 115. So shout out to Lee. And Lee joined in March of 78. So then we get to our fourth most long-serving member, which puts us in the 1980s. So we only had 3 join in the 70s, but into August of 80, we have Clark Baumgardner joined then. And although he did not join Colorado River Toastmasters at that time, that's where he's hiding out now, is down in Colorado River Toastmasters, which is that's one of your clubs now. Isn't that one of your area clubs, Jean? For some reason, I thought you had Colorado River.
I had them in the past. They were one of the 6 clubs that were in my area, but they are a great club, and they are meeting down south by Laughlin, and they are a wonderful club. Been around for a long time. You drive down there and you want to go to a club, look it up on the Toastmasters.org, find out where they're meeting, and go in. They're all friendly. And I'll tell you that the truth is, every place that you go visit, any club, except for the corporate clubs, of course, are open to visitors and guests, and really would love to have you come and see what their Toastmaster meeting looks like.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's us also, you know, I think all the clubs have a great time. I've fun in all the clubs for different reasons. They all have different personalities, but it's like meeting all different people because each club has a personality, and then you're meeting the people in the club too. But it reminds me of this anecdote where the fellow is looking for a house, and he drives through a neighborhood and he sees a guy in this neighborhood out. He sees him out in his yard, and he says, "So tell me, sir," he says, "what are the people like in this neighborhood?" And the man says, "Well, what were they like in your old neighborhood?" He says, "Oh, they were terrible. They were not friendly. They were very just they were just not. It wasn't. They were not nice." And the fellow says, "Well, you'll find the same thing here." And then he drives to another neighborhood, and the different fellow driving through the neighborhood stops and sees the man and says, what's it like in this neighborhood?" The man says, "Well, what was it like in your old neighborhood?" He goes, "Oh my gosh, if I didn't have to leave my old neighborhood, I wouldn't. They were the salt of the earth. Anything in the world they could do to help, to be friendly. I love living there. If I didn't have to get a bigger house, I would never ever leave." And the man says, "Well, you'll find the same thing here in this neighborhood." So I think it's what you go in, what you're looking for, and how you think you'll enjoy Toastmasters is what you'll find. And there you'll find, if you are looking forward to joining and finding a club, you'll find the right one. You'll find friendly clubs all along the way, but then you'll find the right one that clicks as well. So that's my moment of education there. Okay, so then we got Thomas Maroney, and Thomas has joined us in August of '83, and he's in I'll Drink to That Toastmasters, and it looks like he joined that club back in '83. I'll Drink to That. So that's one of our clubs that's been around for a little while. They're not as wild as the name might sound, but they're a fun club as well. And then over in LV Tech Pros, and actually this gentleman, George Cormier is just George Cormier. George is in 3 clubs: LV Tech Pros, which has been around a little while, and then Northern Voices. But he's also in our newest club, and that is so exciting. He's in Hunters Toastmasters, and that is at Creech Air Force Base. So if you are at Creech Air Force Base, and you might check into and join one of our brand new clubs, and you meet George, one of our more senior members. So you get to do both. And George, though, is our 6th most senior member. So that's exciting too. So hey, shout out to George and to all you guys so far. And then we also have
I'm going to assume that that's a closed club just for the Air Force.
right. That one is that. So Hunters, it's just for you guys at Creech, guys and girls at Creech. I'm gonna probably get in trouble for saying girls, guys, and anybody who's at Creech Air Force Base. I'm gonna get this right. Any human being that's at Creech Air Force Base, check out your club. You got a great club. It's called Hunters Toastmasters. I'm sure it's in a newsletter, and a write-up, and an email. I'm sure there's flyers on the base. There's something that lets you know where it's at. And if you know George, reach out to him. But there are the ones I know of that are in that club, you're going to have a ball just visiting that club. So do that. And if you're looking for another open club, though, we do have Lions Roar. And Lions Roar has been around since the 90s. So it's one of our older clubs. But our senior member there is Damancel de Pasqua. I love saying that, Damancel de Pasqua. So Damancel, though, is over in Lions Roar, and she's I don't know if she's currently the club president or not, but she's been the club president before. But you get I loved visiting that club. That one's a fun one. So look for that one. And then in our little piece of Utah that just joined us this year is our next most senior member. And that is, I had my backspace key instead of my, joining us in October of '89, Vern Kilborn. So Vern, shout out to you. And you are over there in Mesquite, up there in Mesquite Silver Tongue Toastmasters. So they're one of our newer ones. And then I'm going to recognize our last member that joined in the '80s, and that is over in Saturday Morning Live, Z Zolnay. Goes by Z. Zolnay is his last name. So Z, hey Z. And he just finished a term as an area director. He survived. And speaking of area directors, if you would like to be an area director, we do have one vacancy. It is unfortunate that you do have to serve 10 months to get credit for your Distinguished Toastmaster award, your Distinguished Toastmaster Educational Award. And unfortunately, if taking office at the middle of October would not give you that credit. I'm sorry. However, it's still a great experience and I still really enjoyed it. So if you are, maybe you're a member who, let's see, how was I heard somebody say lost their mojo. So maybe you've lost your mojo and you want to get back, kind of back in the swing of things, back in tune, back. Why did you join in the first place? Then this might be the perfect opportunity for you. Even if you already have your Distinguished Toastmaster Award, maybe it's time to just go back to basics. Why did I join? What was it like the first time? Or like most people, finish your area director. You're like that last 2 weeks of being an area director, and you go, oh, I finally get it. I finally know how to do the job. And I was the same way. I don't know, Jean probably knew it from the beginning, but I was the same way. Like right at the very end, I went, dang, this should be a 2-year job because I finally get it. Was yours that way, Jean?
I had some great mentors. I was in Valley Voices and Vices, had 2 past district directors in the club. And it's interesting that I came in the club and they said, oh, how would you like to be our sergeant at arms? And I said, okay. And then they came in and said, oh, you should be the vice president. Oh, all right, I can do that. Oh, you should be the president. All right, I can do that. Oh, well, now you've been president, you could be the area director. And I said, area director, what's that? And they proceeded to teach me everything about it. So they were awesome. But
Yeah.
Valley Voices and Vices long-term club.
So that something happened like that to me, that the just a second. Oh, something is I was in 2 clubs with some of the same people, and one of them was Sage Leaders. And so Sage Leaders, they came and said, hey, when I'd been through different offices in both clubs, and then they said, you should be the president. And I said, no. Somebody else said to him, no, you need to be our president because you'll need to have that so you can be an area director. And they were a little more strict about that. The requirements were that you had to be a club president to become a area director. Now it's just a club officer.
I think at the time it was VPE or president, but maybe you're right.
I just know they said you need to be president because you need to be area director. And I said, well, I wasn't planning on being an area director. Well, don't you want your distinguished Toastmaster? Like, oh, I guess so. So yeah, same kind of thing. Like, guess what? You're going to, which I look, and I'm glad that other people saw potential in me that I didn't always see in myself. So to those people, I'm very grateful. And the people in Sage Leaders were and will remain those people who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So that was good. So that's when I became a club president, and I was going somewhere with this story, but that's when I became an area director. So they were giving me guidance, but not as detailed as, well, I don't know. It's kind of a balance. I didn't want to be micromanaged, but I also didn't always know what to do. So I did know Jean then, and Jean was a nice, I just remember the time one of my clubs was, I was in Windjammers at the time, and they were in my area. I was D1. And I just, you get to where you know people, you know who you can count on, you know who you can rely on, and you go to those same people again and again and again, which is good or bad, I don't know. So at one point I said, oh, I know, I need to, and I looked at my list, and I remember Jean saying, you have 3 more clubs in your area, and there's great potential leaders in every one of those, and you need to go visit those as well. I went, oh yeah, you're right, I do. So that was the turning point where I started visiting all my clubs, and then seeing the amazing people that were in them. So I had High Noon Lectern, I had Windjammers, I had Express Yourself, which unfortunately is no longer with us, and I also had Library 2.0. And that was the very first club I ever visited. So if you are an employee of Clark County Library, and I've said this before, and obviously I'm saying it again because you guys are not listening to me. So if you are an employee of Clark County Library District, you need to look in your email and find Library 2.0 Toastmasters, because you have a fantastic club that's innovative and creative, and now hybrid. Because before the pandemic, you would have to drive all the way down to Windmill, which was still worth the drive because it's an incredible club. But now you can attend online, and just meet the great people, then the other branches, all different levels of types of employees, and you get to meet all of them. So Library 2.0, but that was one of my 4 clubs also. There were my 4 clubs. Can you remember you don't even remember your clubs, do you? Well, do you want to shout out to the clubs you have now in your area? Oh, he's typing on Facebook. Well, I'll tell you the clubs he has now in his area.
Yeah. Tell me the clubs I have now.
You're what, B3?
B3. It's a vitamin, you know.
Centennial Hills Toastmasters.
Awesome club. Know a lot of people in there.
Summerlin Toasters.
Yep. I know Summerlin Toasters are good. Corporate club.
Bachelors and bachelorettes.
Yeah, that's a fun club. You want to meet some nice ladies and get to know some people, or some nice men either. They are there. You have to be single. That's their regulation. You have to be single. You can't be married or attached to someone, but single people welcome at bachelors and bachelorettes, and they have fun at every meeting. They're meeting in person or hybrid, I believe. They're meeting hybrid.
And the last one you have is Boulder Voices.
Boulder Voices. You have to be a damn employee.
No, you don't.
Oh, you don't?
No, you don't. No, you just have to be, it's open to the community.
Oh, we should promote that in Boulder City, that anybody in Boulder City can join. That would be awesome. We need to get that information out, because I'm imagining a lot of people believe that it's a corporate club.
Well, it started out that way. And let me fill, for those of you who are listening to this saying, what? Okay, let me fill you. We have at the bottom of our state, Hoover Dam, and the Department of the Interior is who governs that Department of Water and Reclamation, I believe. The Department of Water and Reclamation. So I went to visit that club because they were in my division as a division director. And I was so excited. And I was also a federal employee at the time. I've since retired. And I remember walking out with one of the ladies, and I said, how long have you worked here? You know, she said, well, I've been a damn employee for about 20 years. I said, oh, I hear you. I've been a damn employee probably 30. And she says, no. DAM. No N. And I went, oh, that was my moment of, oh, but she laughed real hard. And so that would be the fun part about working for that agency, is getting to all the time without flinching, being able to, I've been a damn employee for about 20. So yeah, but they're a fun club, and I did get to meet them. Their building site was under construction when I went, so we were dodging tape and pylons and stuff in the hallways to get way back to a little tiny room. I'm sure it's better now, but the people were worth dodging tape and cones for. So yeah, you have that one now, so you're lucky there. That's a good club. So there's your 4 clubs. So you have fun. You visited bachelors, bachelorettes already. And I know in the past you visited the others, but you're still doing your visits right now in October. Side note, if you're an area director, all your club visits are due by the end of October, and then your reports are due by the end of November. So don't make the mistake I made back when I was area director and thinking I had till November to do everything. You have till the end of October to make your visits, but the end of November to write your reports. But you're still visiting all your clubs, right, Gene? Yes, he is. So he didn't unmute for that. He just nice.
I'm trying to figure out the employees from, is that Hoover Dam?
I thought it was Hoover Dam.
Yeah, it's Hoover Dam.
There's only the one dam down there, isn't there?
I keep writing Boulder Dam, but it's Hoover Dam. It's Boulder City.
No. So anything fun on Facebook?
We have our awesome Jennifer online. She's telling everybody about Valley Voice and Vices since we mentioned them. And I've been talking about clubs that we've mentioned as well. So yeah, we're having a great time over here. It's a little party. Come join us on Wake Up with Toastmasters online, and you can watch it live on live chat. And if you're watching live, you can make comments and add kibitz that we can put in.
So should I go into the 90s and talk about who joined us in the 90s?
Sure, that sounds good. When you get to mind, you can don't say what year that was.
You didn't join in the 90s. You joined way later. No, not way later, but you joined later. Well, when we get into our 90s, then we have Janice Montoya, who's over in Early Risers, and she joined us in January 1st of 91. So that was fun. And then I've been in clubs with Janice too. So Janice was actually an area director last term. Oh no, she's an area director now also. She is actually now an area director as well. I didn't realize, I forgot she did it 2 times in a row. So yeah, so we have Janice. And then, pardon? They are online.
Early Risers online.
Wednesday mornings at 6:30.
Okay, thanks.
And then we have our next member. Oh, you got to mute.
I
We
can
have
do
our
that.
next member who joined, and this one joined in. Got to get back to my spreadsheet's just a tiny bit too big for the page. July of 91, Kay Collis joined, and she's one of our members for life, as she calls it. And she is now in Chamber Voices, which is if you are a member of the Chamber of Commerce, so you're a business owner or entrepreneur, which I don't know the difference, but business owner or entrepreneur. And then you got Chamber Voices, Bachelor, Bachelorettes, which Jean mentioned, and one of our advanced clubs, Bon Appetit. So those 3 clubs, you'll find Kay Collis. And then after that is Debbie Adair. And Debbie Adair is actually going to be our guest on a week from today. Next Friday, the 14th, we will have Debbie Adair. She's in Cedar City Toastmasters. She's been now, like I said, since basically 31 years, she's been a Toastmaster, which is really exciting. And is that right? Yeah, that is right. 31 years. So October 1st. Hey, Debbie. And she will be a week from today. She'll be on our show. You and I'll be interviewing her because they are having the following week a huge open house and anniversary party. And we're going to get all the fun details a week from today. So let's look at that. And we will mark our calendar Monday. We will talk about all those events. So that is.
I was playing on Facebook. What club is that?
She is in. Oh shoot! I just pressed the wrong button. She is in Cedar City Toastmasters. Yeah, one of our new Utah clubs. Then we have over in Toast of Sierra, a member that was joined on January of 93, and that is Diane Volker. Volker. I'm sorry, Diane. Diana. I'm sorry. Okay, let me start again. Diana Volker. Sorry about that, Diana. And then, who we all know, one of our past district directors, Maria Martinez Riak, and she joined in April of 94. And she's still with the same club she joined, and use one near and dear to your heart, Valley Voices and Vices. So Jennifer, you have the 15th or 16th most senior member there. My number's off because the people in multiple clubs. But yeah, there was Maria Martinez Riak, and she is just this little ball of energy. I just love her. And great ideas, great, friendly lady. So, although the last time I saw her, she was not happy with me because we had an in-person event and I did not provide coffee. So I still love her an apology, but she's a nice lady. So we got her. Then over in Centennial Hills Toastmasters is our next most senior employee, joined in June of 95, and that is Liz Babcock. So hi, Liz. Liz, though, is I'm in Vegas Stars with Liz Babcock, and she was over in Lions Roar for a while, but it looks like now she is just in Centennial Hills Toastmasters. And then also back to Toast of Sierra, July of 95, Bob Dobson. And you know Bob Dobson. Say hi to Bob. He's muted. He's saying
Hey, Bob, how are you? Good to have you. You need to come on the show, Bob. We could interview you. You've been here for so long. You could tell us the history of Toastmasters in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Then we have Early Risers Toastmasters. So we mentioned before, and Lambda Linguist has since August of 95. We have Greg Moore. So Greg Moore is in those 2 clubs. And then Ooh, we have one of the more senior members and one of our authors and aspiring authors, the one who joined in July of 96, Anita Della Croce, who's also our Division B governor and is in Lions Roar and Biggest Stars. Whoa. So yeah, so hi Anita. So if you're listening, Anita, we recognizing that you've been with Toastmasters since July of 90. Oh, let me make sure I got the right year. Was that 96? 96. July of 96. And then the rest of a whole bunch joined in July of 96. So all of these people joined July 1st of 1996. We have first Anita, then over in Summerlin Toasters. Let me make sure I got the right one. One of your clubs, Summerlin Toasters, Sherry Hickman. And Sherry is also in Northern Voices. So Sherry, hello. And then altering to that features Mark Goodman. And then we mentioned Anita and Vegas Stars and Sage Leaders. Anita's also in Sage Leaders, one of our other advanced clubs. And then we are back to Windjammers, February of 97. They welcomed Norma Tanner into the mix, and she is the Division D1 area director right now.
And
She didn't need to do that, but she wanted to.
Norma is a real sweetheart and a treasure because she knows so much about Toastmasters. I knew her in a different organization before I joined Toastmasters, and I thought, this lady is so well spoken and I didn't even know about Toastmasters at that time. It took about 3 more years for me to join.
Yeah. She is just a wealth of knowledge. And so I'm glad that we have her as an area director this year because she knows everything. And I'm sorry I didn't get to join you at Speakers and Leaders of Summerlin's anniversary party a couple days ago, but it was a great crowd. You guys missed it, but it's not too late to still visit that club who just had their 20th anniversary party. I forget which anniversary, but they just had that. And then also we have July of 90 and oh, here we go. So another date where I assigned a whole bunch of members, May 1st of 97, we welcomed Lori Childers, who's in Vegas Stars, Nora Lonquist, who is tucked over there in Sorcerers, back to Windjammers. You guys have all the senior members, Elaine Lordy. So I've known Elaine for a long time. She's just a really sweet lady. Then we already recognized Lori Childers as being in Vegas Stars. And we have over to Sage Leaders, Elaine Lordy again. So those are our, we got a couple more in 97. 97 was a busy year. Let's see. We just won't have to go, the rest of 97 will be a mystery until we go over and recognize those people then. Any last minute moments, anything else in Facebook?
No, I mentioned almost all the clubs: Library 2.0, Boulder Voices, Early Risers, Cedar City Toastmasters, and all of our great friends in all the different clubs that we met them all. We were at contests in Utah last year, and it's really great to have them as part of our club or part of our district. And we need to really support them. And also, we did mention Pahrump, and I think Pahrump is a really long-term club that's been around for a long time. So if you live in Pahrump, there's a Toastmaster club there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that one has some fabulous. Well, I just muted myself instead of Gene. I keep saying fun and fabulous people, but the thing about it is, you really do meet some great people. Of course, you never would have met if you didn't join Toastmasters, but also people with such diverse skills and knowledge. And keep in mind, people pick their speech topic. So the thing people don't think about when they think about Toastmasters is that people are talking about things that are near and dear to them. And learning about different professions and different vacation spots and different hobbies and different interests from all the different people. It's sort of like getting this little miniature college education every time you go, because someone will talk about woodworking, and the next time someone will talk about their cruise to the Bahamas. you learn so many things. We still have an air cooker, but that's a long story because somebody gave a speech about air cookers. But well, that's a fun story for later.
Instapot.
Instapot. I'm sorry, Instapot. That's a story for later and for other clubs at other times. But it is now 6:30. So I want to thank you. We'll wrap up the week. Visit a Toastmaster club. We have 7 days a week worth of Toastmaster clubs here in this district. Go on, find a club. Some are online only, some are in person only, and a lot of them are hybrid or half and half. So you can attend either online or in person and get the same great experience. So if you're really shy and just want to sneak in the corner, come into an online meeting, see what's going on, and have a great time. Or if you're adventurous and you're a people person, go anywhere you want and just join a Toastmaster or visit a Toastmaster club and see if it's right for you. With that, thank you. And we will, Jean, I will see you on Monday. I'm not sure about Jean, but I will see you on Monday. And Anita De La Croce will be my guest host. And we will also be interviewing Phil Dahlheimer. So we will have him as our guest on Monday.
Well, if I miss that, it's going to be terrible because Phil was with me in a club we started. And I think he was the mentor and I was what's the other one? Not mentor. Sponsor. No, he was the sponsor and I was the mentor.
Well, then
I think that's the way it was. Long time ago.
Then you better come on Monday because that's who we have in store for you on Monday. With that, we will see you all on Monday and have a great weekend. And thank you for watching Wake Up with Toastmasters.